Voltaire said, "Every man is a creature of the age in which he lives, and few are able to raise themselves above the ideas of the time." Plato said, "Wise men speak because they have something to say, fools because they have to say something." George Bernard Shaw thought that the reasonable man adapts himself to the world. The unreasonable one persists in trying to adapt the world to himself. Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man. This is Whiskey Hell. Think critically. Act accordingly.
Saturday, July 27th, 7:37 in the evening. This is Whiskey Hell News, the podcast that looks at the narratives from the week, all the stuff that you probably tried to miss. And McShane, that's me, and Fitz over there. Fitz, are you here?
I am here, present and accounted for, at least physically. Mentally, that's still up in the air. We'll see.
Well, after this week, I don't think being present mentally is even worth it at this point. We've got, we knew last week was crazy because of all the stuff that we talked about between the assassination attempt, the RNC, and the CrowdStrike failure, cyber attack, nefarious shit that happened. And then this week is just kind of blown up in this direction. I don't think we had any thought was going to happen either.
I've stopped. I mean, well, that's not true. I try and predict shit, but I'm happy if I'm getting 10% of my predictions are coming true because it's so all over the place. Nothing makes sense anymore. What the fuck was that Olympics opening ceremony? I know we're going to get into that. What the fuck was that? The Olympics now. It is half a cult, half Olympics. What is going on with Kamala Ding Dong? I can't even. Do you know how desperate a political party has to be that's their best? That's the best they can put forward is her. I don't know. We got a lot to talk about. I don't want to get to it all right now. I'm flabbergasted daily, and that's hard to do. My gast is usually unflatterable. And yes, that's a word now. And yet here we are. My gast is flabbered.
Well, we do have a tremendous amount to get to. We've got a little coup that happened in Washington, like what you're saying about Kamala being in. We're going to touch on how her campaign's going and what a shenanigan that has been turned into. We've got the Olympics, like you were saying also. It was basically an occult nightmare. They keep getting darker and they keep getting weirder. And something that I really want us to touch on is, what does this one mean? Because if you go back to the 2012 one with all the symbology and all the stuff that popped up there with a bunch of nurses in beds and death running around trying to catch them. I mean, if we want to read into shit, there's a lot to read into this year. So we'll definitely get into that. More terrible news coming out of Israel, the Trump campaign, JD Vance might have fucked a couch. We're not sure. Just a lot to get to.
The couch can neither confirm nor deny.
Hey, I just want the couch to know that it's okay to come forward. I don't know if it's too late to do a DNA test, but nobody should be mistreated, including sofas. Sectionals.
Well, I mean,
that's spelled sectional now, right? SEX-tional.
Oh, for sure. And I kind of feel like I'm not trying to minimize anything here. I'm just trying to be inclusive, but I feel like we left out the couches of the world with the whole Me Too movement.
We did. We totally.
You know what I mean? Like where are the couches being represented in Me Too?
Well, the woman who came from, I can't remember her name now, but it broke earlier today. The woman that claimed that she was raped by Trump has now come out as a couch. So JD Vance needs to watch the fuck out.
She identifies as a couch. Yeah, well, that's a setup right there.
Yes. Let's get to the beers. What are you drinking?
Oh, yes, let's get to some drinking. Well, I all I know is the mystery beer is from Left Hand. So,
Ooh.
that narrows it down, although I will say Left Hand is more than just a milk stout these days. They've been doing some, higher ABV like monstrosities. I've seen them kind of venturing into the IPA game. So Left Hand is branching out. Always a solid stout, which we know their milk stout was the first milk stout I ever had. Um, so anyway, this one poured like a milk stout pours, but I'm getting hints of other things, and one of those things is I'm getting some booziness with this. I can smell the booze on it, so I'm
Hmm.
guessing it's not a straight up milk stout, because that one's like a 4.5 or something. I mean, there's hardly any ABV to
Okay.
it at all. So this one's higher than that. But what it is, I don't know. So I'm gonna give it a taste here.
Okay. Yeah, they do some pretty good. Their dark stuff is pretty good. I remember their Voodoo,
Yeah.
which I think is a normal beer for them now. I think it's a year
Mm.
round. Has always been pretty good.
Okay. This is their milk stout. Absolutely their milk stout, but they've done something to it, and I don't know
Okay.
what.
So it's
This
not
is
Wake Up
a
the
this is
Dead
a
or Wake Up Dead.
no, it is not. I'm
Huh.
getting
Okay.
I'm getting coffee.
Okay.
I'm getting a lot of coffee. And then a little bit more coffee.
And more coffee.
Maybe we could be. No, it's not the chai. I've had the chai one before. That's pretty good. All right. Well, let's rip off the band-aid here. I don't want to. Let's not stand on ceremony. I know this gets a little boring sometimes for people. Actually, when it's exciting is when I'm like on it. Like I'm like, oh, I'm getting this flavor, that flavor, and I know exactly which beer it is. But when I don't know, it's just kind of boring. All right. This is the Galactic Cowboy Imperial Stout. So it's just their straight up milk stout that they've stuck back in and let it do its thing. So this is just a straight up
Galactic Cowboy.
Imperial Stout. Yeah, Galactic Cowboy. 9%, 44 IBUs, so definitely a smooth beer. Definitely boozy though. I mean I got that right off the nose. You could smell it. So and I'm definitely, I mean, you and I have talked about it before. You can sometimes have a 7%er and you can smell the booze on it, and then the next beer you'll pour is a 14%er, and you don't even taste the booze in it. So this one's kind of in that mid category of a 9, but I'm smelling a lot more than that. I would have guessed this a 10 plus, but anyway, Galactic
Interesting. All
Cowboy, there
right.
you go. It's a solid stout. I'll give it that. It's got a lot of bitter to it,
Here it
as far
is.
as the coffee flavors. There you go. There it is. What do we got here?
Yeah. Yeah. Read that out.
Bittersweet chocolate and black coffee. Yeah, that's what I'm getting.
Huh. All right.
Um,
So you're rolling semi pretty kind of heavy right out of the gate.
yeah, yeah. Well, why
That's
not? Right? I mean, after the last hour of my life that I just had, that I'm never going to get back. By the way, thank you, Xfinity. Um, I'm ready to roll heavy. Let's do this.
all right. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and break up mine. I so first of all, my side bitch is actually a paperback beer. It's called Satan Wears Pajamas.
Nice.
I decided that was in order to go along with our Olympic coverage tonight. So we're definitely doing that.
That sounds
Uh,
great.
the beer, I had to take advantage of. I saw a Drecker that was dark, and it's kind of hard to find their
Oh,
dark stuff out here.
yeah, yeah.
So I went ahead and went with that, and this one is actually Pillage, a porter that they make. Let's see. Yep, here it is, Pillager. Yep, cool. This is
That's a
5.2.
that's a great name for a beer, by the way.
No,
Pillager.
it totally is. It totally is. Super dark. But I'm curious to see what their version of it is because, like I said, they don't have a lot of dark beers.
Yeah.
Very clean. It's just, I mean, it just smells like a porter. Nothing exciting to it. Super dry. Not a lot of mouthfeel either. Just kind of there. It's pretty close to water. Dark
Oh
water,
yeah.
not poopy water, but like
No.
coffee that's sat for a couple hours.
Uh-huh.
Like I'll go in, I'll drink it, but I'm not gonna go back for that again. Malty, very little
Yeah.
else to it.
I kind of feel like Drecker needs to stick with the light stuff.
Well, or they're really jacked up sours, and because they're all their
That's what I mean.
sours and
Yeah.
everything are,
Oh,
those
they're
are
fantastic.
fantastic, and their
Yeah.
IPAs are really really good. But
Yeah.
yeah, I not we'll see what happens, but yeah, not a big fan of that. Huh. Interesting. All right. Well, that's okay. That is okay. That's why we do this. That's why we do the show. And it's not always going to work out perfectly.
That's a life lesson there, kids. See, when you tune into the show, you not only get the news, you not only get some good beers and sometimes some not so good beers, but we kind of make it a Sunday special. We try and give you some life lessons along the way.
Yeah, yeah. And we always come back swinging, right? It doesn't, we never go off and go, you know what? We're done. You know what? This
Oh,
beer, I'm
yeah,
done
no.
drinking beers. I'm done drinking beers because at the end of the day, it's still about having great time, having great beers, being with people that you love. Kind of like everybody who we have in chat tonight.
Wow,
Look at
nice
this.
transition. Well done.
We got Mike. We got Aaron, 2024, running for president with Gunner on his ticket.
Yes.
Joe Bonnick. Kamala. I'm just going to keep doing that. I love that.
Kamalama ding dong.
Yeah. Lisa and Elle are here, and so is Tabby. So we are very happy. We've got all our friends in chat, and I think we're ready to take down the news. Make it our little bitch tonight. You want to do that?
We usually have our cameras off during the show, and we light them up at the after show, but just so everyone can have a nice mental picture in their heads. And I'm sorry that that Buttercup's not here tonight, but I do have my Fitz Knits shirt on tonight. I'm rocking Fitz Knits, so
Nice.
just for everybody playing at home, close your eyes and form a nice picture of a perfectly chiseled male body, an Adonis, if you will, of a male body, in this shirt, light gray shirt that's tight around the arms, a little tight around the chest, leaves everything else up to the imagination, and in bright red letters it says Fitz Knits on the front, and on the back it says you have to have a lot of balls to be a good hooker. So anyway, that's where my head's at right now. Let's get to some housekeeping.
All right. So you found this video by Andrew Schultz, which was really, really funny. Do we want to go ahead and play it? Because it kind of sets
Yeah,
up
dude,
the attitude of the week.
I agree, and I feel like he's such an underrated comic. Like, if you've never heard of Andrew Schultz, do yourself a favor, get out there, go find some of his stuff. It's really good, and I think maybe better than any other comic, he can dance the line of racism and not racism so well. He did a whole bit on blackface that at the Apollo Theater, and it fucking killed. I mean, it just killed. It was fantastic. So brilliant comic, really good stuff. Like I said, if you haven't heard of him before, go check out his stuff. He's really very, very clever, very good. And this bit was amazing. You're going to lose a little bit here in this one because he does have some visuals with, when he'll say something, a visual will pop up, but that's okay. It'll be in show notes. You can go out and watch it for yourself. But the audio is just as good. So.
All right, here we go.
And Kamala is in. The election went from drool runnings to cool runnings faster than a female cop can fumble her firearm. Move over, RFK. This November, we've got a new throat goat, and apparently her headshots don't miss. Kamala Harris, or as we call her, Warhawk Tua, the half-black, half-Indian, parents met at a 7-Eleven robbery, is officially the Democratic nominee. Surely the Dems, the party that calls Trump the end of democracy, surely they allowed the voters to choose Kamala, right? What? No? Wait, there's no right to choose? Guys, this is a presidential election, not a woman's body in Oklahoma. Now, I don't want to seem like a flat earthing, dinosaur denying, believe all women conspiracy theorist, but it kind of feels like the Democrats dragged Biden's lifeless corpse through the campaign long enough to avoid a primary so they could place whoever they wanted as the nominee. And that's about as democratic as North Korea's Got Talent. Sidebar, last year's winner, Ching Chong Chestnut, ate 46 rats. Congratulations, Ching Chong. That's a lot of rats. We'll look forward to seeing how many you eat next year. What I'm saying is they used a vegetable to install a plant. And honestly, we would have been happier with a fruit. But the reality is it doesn't matter. Last week, Trump became invincible. Literally. He was leading before, and now he's number one with a bullet. At this point, if the Dems wanted to beat Thrifty Cent, they'd have to run George Washington, and Kamala could work for him. Paid. Now, why is Trump invincible? Because he has the power of Hulkamania, obviously, brother, with a hard R. And also because this pimple-lipped, pug-faced incel, we'll call him a trench bulldog, tried to make Trump's brain public domain. Fortunately, even a bullet couldn't make Donald open-minded. Now, getting a shot off at the president must be an incredibly difficult thing to accomplish. I mean, not as difficult as finding binoculars to fit his eyes. Jesus, he looks like the sloth from Ice Age. But he must have designed a pretty ingenious plot to circumvent the Secret Service and oh, what's that? Wait, you're saying that Herbie Potter was just walking around with a loaded gun like he was on an Alec Baldwin set? He was carrying a fucking ladder and a rangefinder? He propped it up on a building that had cops in it, positioned himself on the roof with a perfect sight line to the president, and no one did anything? This Mickey Mouse security detail was so goofy it made Donald duck. Oh boy! Who's in charge of the Secret Service? A lady? Wait, what? Seriously? Well, of course she didn't have anyone on top of the building. Women only care about shots on a roof when there's a pool party. Now, I don't want to seem like a Bigfoot tracking, moon landing denying Jews don't control the weather conspiracy theorist, but it doesn't exactly feel like a 20-year-old fetal alcohol face McLovin should be able to infiltrate the most advanced security detail in history. I mean, the only other thing he's penetrated was his palm. Did Kim Cheadle hire Epstein's NyQuil Night Watch? What the fuck is going on here? This just doesn't feel right. And that's the problem. Nothing feels right. We have officially entered the post-truth age. We can't trust the media. We can't trust the government. We can't trust the pharmaceutical industry. We can't even trust the food we eat. So who can you trust? Me, your good friend Schultzy. This episode has been brought to you by Pfizer. There is no promo code. There's nothing to fill out. They're already inside you. But before we bitch, whine, and complain, just remember, like it or not, this is what we asked for. We wanted fast content that makes us feel good. We want politicians who lie to us. We want sugary food to fill us up and pills to slim us down. We don't want what's good for us. We want what's convenient. So we made our bed. Might as well get comfy. Sleep tight.
Expert level
Solid.
takedown. Expert level
solid.
takedown. And that's really, that sums up, well, the last 4 years we've been doing this show, I think. It really, really does.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks, Schultzy. Way to just wrap up our whole show. No, he's very, very good. I mean, well written, great delivery, funny, and yet at the end where he got serious there, it's like, hey, this is what we asked for. And he's fucking A right. Yeah. I mean, you can't, nothing in there nothing he said is false. Nothing is a lie. Nothing is conjecture. Like, he just put it out there, and here we are.
And there's nothing to deny it. And that really does launch where we are this week. It was a coup. Yeah. It was a coup. Oh, Biden was about to get booted. They're about to drop the 25th Amendment on him. It's very it's there's again, this is one of those, there is so much smoke, it cannot not be true at this point.
Right.
You even have Seymour Hersh, who's pretty locked in as far as political,
Yeah.
you know, ammo.
Yeah, his
connections.
credentials are I mean, they're infallible. You cannot say anything about Seymour Hersh that you think he's somehow playing for one side or the other. He's just there to find the truth.
Even though he works for the New Yorker, even though,
but, right.
But yeah, that's what it comes down to. This was a coup. That's exactly what it was. And let's just walk through some stuff before we get into theories and who it might have been, because there was definitely some weird stuff that happened. The White House staff was the last to know, for one thing.
Right. They found out via X.
Yep. It dropped all over X, and suddenly that was it.
Right. Well, and that was weird how it dropped. I mean, before we just rush past that, a document, a typed document. If you haven't seen it, go out and look at it. It was a typed document, not on White House letterhead, not even on from the desk of Joe Biden letterhead. And and then at the end, he basically said, I'm, for the good of the country, et cetera, I'm not going to run. I'm dropping out of the race. And then he signed it down at the bottom. And again, as I was saying in chat this week, I have I will say a cursory knowledge of and interest in graph analysis. My grandmother worked for the Maricopa County Elections Department for years, and her job was graph analysis to make sure back in the days when actual voters used an actual, punch card and had to fill in their candidates. Her job was to make sure that they were who they said they were. She did comparisons of signatures and bills that they had signed and things that went to their homes and made sure that's who they were. So she was really into graph analysis, went to a lot of big, conferences and symposiums. And anyway, that's all to say, you don't have to have any knowledge of graph analysis to see that this signature on this letter was a forgery. A 5-year-old could look at that and be like, oh, that's not the same person. So that all was really weird too. And then to find out that the White House staff, that's how they found out, was through a forged letter. Very strange. All of this is just, it's so bizarre until you put it under the context. And maybe this is zooming out a little bit too much, and maybe we want to save this for later. But the United States, one thing that we do really well is depose governments all around the world. The CIA they're goddamn professionals at it. You go down the list of countries that we've either toppled their government and installed our own government, or just created enough chaos that the country just melted down on its own. We're fucking great at it. So why do we think they wouldn't do it here too? Why are we above all of that? We're not. And it's being done here right in front of our faces, and no one seems to care. Unreal.
Well, and I think, it did hit the fan early in the week, right? There was a lot of questions about it. I think especially when we were one of the first ones, I think, that really got on top of it. And then you saw everybody was really starting to get, hey, this was, this is really, really weird. But the word coup has not been said enough. It really has not been said enough, especially when you think about how last week he disappears with COVID. And now this week he's walking around suddenly so much taller than he used to be.
Yeah, he's like 6'4" now. There was that whole medical emergency in Vegas, right? I guess that was the COVID scare. And then there were reports from the journalists on Air Force One that the plane was shaking. They had it full throttle the whole way. They made it from Vegas to I forget where they landed. It wasn't JFK. Somewhere
you went to Delaware. Yeah, it was to Delaware.
Delaware. It was in Delaware.
Yep.
And it was like a 3-hour and 18-minute flight. Do you know how fast you have to be flying to make that flight in 3 hours and 18 minutes? That's hauling ass. That is hauling ass. So something happened in Vegas. We don't know what. It's unconfirmed. COVID, whatever. And then he puts out this letter. It's fucking weird. All of it's weird.
Well, and I also enjoyed how his brother comes out and says that, he's this was due to health concerns, and the family comes up right after. Don't listen to him. He's an alcoholic. So there's a red flag right there.
Yeah, right.
Let's go ahead and discredit him. So yeah, it's I think well, let's go to this. Let's go to this just to kind of ice the cake as far as how weird things are.
I cannot. This is so cringy.
You have to listen carefully. Okay, I'm going to turn this up. Listen very carefully.
Wait. Before you start it, hold on.
Okay.
I want our listeners at home. We're going to play a little game. So you have to listen really carefully to this one, because the game is, which one was more cringy? This one or the one where the Obamas called him or called her?
We have a Jefe.
Hey, and we do have a Jefe. Should we table this until Jefe has to leave?
No, let's have Jefe listen to this too, because
okay,
Jefe,
all right,
I'm not sure Jefe's heard this, so let's plow on.
All right,
here we go.
It is so good to hear our president's voice, Joe. I know you're still on the call, and we've been talking every day.
Okay, did everybody catch that right there? I'm gonna go back and play it just real quick. Here we go. Listen to this.
Yep.
It is so good to hear our president's voice, Joe. I know you're still on the call, and we've been talking every day. You guys heard it from Doug's voice. We love Joe and Jill. We really do. They truly are like family to us, and we do. Everybody here does.
It's neutral.
I knew you were still there. You're not going anywhere, Joe.
I'm watching you, kid. I'm watching you, kid. I love you.
I love you, Joe.
So, tell me, Jefe, what was that? Was that AI? What was that? Somebody just playing a recording? Because it sounds like that was just somebody playing a recording.
Is that what she was about to say?
Well, here, I'll play it again.
Well,
here you go.
Yeah.
It is so good to hear our president's voice, Joe. I know you're still on the call.
Yeah.
She actually, there's no reason she has to call attention to his voice. She actually starts saying, "You're on the recording," and it's totally awkward the way he's talking.
Yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind that this was recorded.
Oh, or it was like a real-time AI. I mean, let's.
Yeah.
I mean, the CIA's had that technology for a long time. We've known that. And I mean, because if it was all pre-recorded, I think, I mean, she did kind of go off the cuff a little bit. Although maybe that was scripted to look like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know one thing. That was not Joe Biden on that call. That's the one thing I do know.
Here's the breakdown from Matthew Sabia using 11 Labs.
I know yesterday's news was surprising and it was hard for you to hear, but it was the right thing to do. I know it's hard because you poured your heart and soul into me.
Okay. Let's just go on old 11 Labs and see if that's really all they probably used for this. So, upload. There we go. And let's see what we got. Yeah, looks like they didn't even really try.
98% very likely.
That's what we're dealing with, folks.
That's what it said. Yep.
I saw a thing on Instagram. It said like this kid carved his parents out of wood or something, and it was him like posing behind this wooden statue of his parents. And then I looked at the comments and they were like, nice try, it's AI. zoom in on the dad's fingers, and the dad had 3 fingers.
Yes.
And there was like a fence post behind them that was not lined up like a fence is supposed to be. And so once you take a second look, it's clearly not real. But how long until that's not an issue anymore? And we're not going to be able to do anything we see at all.
Not long. Not long.
That's
because I'll tell you what they're doing. They're to fix those bugs, because we all remember the weird picture of the princess that was missing. Remember, Megan?
Like
no,
an arm was missing.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Steve.
No, I was gonna say that was Princess Kate, wasn't it, or was it?
Yeah,
I thought. Oh, it was Kate, right? So yeah, remember, that picture. The longer you look at it, the worse it gets. Like somebody has, 7 fingers, and someone else's arm is crossing up and over, and it just didn't make any sense. So what they're doing now with the AI companies is you put in what you want, the first rendering comes up, and then they put in basically a filter to re-render it to that only looks for oddities like that. How many fingers, how many feet, are arms crossing weird. And so now they're already actively getting better and better and better. Every time someone asks for a picture, it's more data for them to correct it and get better at it.
It's going to be such a weird world to live in with nothing that's real.
It already is. I don't even know if I'm real anymore.
Dude, I heard changing gears here. I heard a story just now. I got to share with you guys.
Okay.
This guy is playing blackjack with me. He buys in for $200, and we go all the way down to his last $15, and he brings it back up to $200. And he goes, "I'm going to stop now. I'm going to call it even." And I was like, "All right, cool, good comeback." And he goes, "Yeah, you want to hear a comeback? Last year, I was playing. I was down $2,500, and I had my last $20, and I bet it on blackjack, and I built it back up to $4,500. So now he's up $2,000." He said, "I went to my room, came down the next morning. I won another $1,000, and I was planning to drive out to Flagstaff, so I drove up to Flagstaff, played up there, won another $1,200, bought a lottery ticket, a scratcher, and won $300 on that." He goes, "And then I went to a strip club that night and got a bunch of dances from a girl, and I named my new dog after her."
That's excellent. That's a good night.
That's a legend. That's legendary with a J thrown in there.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Good
I
shit.
could go for one of those nights.
Yeah, right. Well, I don't know, McShane. You and I had a pretty good run that morning on craps.
We did.
Oh yeah,
That was
Thanks
pretty epic. Hey, you were incapacitated, literally.
With a capital I.
Yeah. Yeah, that's still one of the best photoshops I've ever seen. Is when McShane put your bed down in the middle of the casino. God damn, that was funny.
That was so awful.
So
how's your week going, Jefe? How you been?
It's been rough. It's really slow. Last night was good, but got some ground to make up. So working on that.
Good.
Well, I mean, all you have to say is like, just send the good vibes, man. We got a whole community out there they're just waiting to fucking help you out, man.
Ship them in. I ship them.
Pick them up. I ship my bed. There it is.
So Jefe, I've got your picture from Vegas on the screen now.
Oh God damn it!
With the reserve sign.
Oh yeah, I put the reserved. I stole that from some table somewhere. Oh God, McShane, because I said we were sitting down there having coffee, and I'm like, it's fucking dead down here. I was like, Jefe's really missing out because there's literally no one here, and McShane's like, hold my beer, hold my coffee, watch this. And then you were right there with us, and it was fantastic.
Everything was all better. For everybody who wants to go out and see the picture, go back to January 16th show. It's called That's Vegas. You'll look at the show art, and we'll listen to the show. You'll listen to everything that actually happened in that trip because it was good. It was a fun trip. It was
a great trip. It was
Very
expensive,
memorable.
but it was a great trip.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Jefe, so I maybe this is something for the next your next drop in. We wanted to see if you wanted us to try and hook you up with a prison lover. Or, I don't know if you're interested in that or not.
I'm leaning no. I saw those ones you guys had, and like the one older lady, I was like, oh, she looks nice. I mean, not my type. But I was like, she looks like a nice lady, and then you scroll down, and she's in there for murder. Like, what happened? She looks like a nice old grandmother in the making, like in her 50s, whatever. And she murdered somebody.
Yeah, but we don't know the details, man. What if
very nice, yeah.
What if someone was having sex with her grandson? You know what I mean? Like her underage grandson, and she's like, "Nope, not on my watch. You're dead, bitch." And then she goes to
I guess I got to start writing her to find out these things.
That's what was just going to be my point. Is you'll never know if you don't reach out. I don't know. If I were in your shoes, and I'm just saying, you're a single father of like 16 children, and you're looking, you're on the hunt, right? On the prowl. Maybe a little murder is, that it might spice up your life, dude.
April Ulrich, she's from Georgia. She is in for murder, but she's looking for friendship and love. Her expected release date is unknown, so you might be just fine.
Right. She might age out of that whole murder thing, like you get more mature as you get older.
It's like never crossed out unknown. I don't know about this. This seems like dangerous water.
She's outdoorsy, travel and stargazing.
Yeah, and here's the other thing, Jefe. Here's what you have to consider. It's connection, man. I mean, to me, this is better than just cheap porn. You know what I mean?
Is it?
Hold on, let me finish this thought. Yeah, it is in some ways. I mean, I'm talking about for like a single dude. Like you, I mean, sure, you can go out and look at porn 24 hours a day if you want. And you can jerk off as many times as your poor little testes can go. But at some point, aren't we all looking for a deeper connection to somebody who's like real? And yeah, maybe they have a history. We've all got a history. Listen, I've said more than once that I wanted to kill somebody. I just didn't follow through with it. She did. She's a woman of conviction. I think there's just a chance for connection is all I'm saying. That's all.
I've done hard time. I've done 5 hours in a holding cell in Scottsdale. Okay.
Yes, you have.
I'm one of her. One of those. So I know what it's like. So
dude, I actually have you beat on that. Did you know that?
I think were you 24 hours?
I was 48
for fighting.
I was 48 hours over a weekend. They were nice enough to let you, get dropped off on a Friday night, and then you get picked up, Sunday at 5 or whatever, and they count that as 48 hours. So that was that. I'm not saying it was a proud moment in my life, and I'm definitely not making it into a competition. But I just realized that. I know you were in some hot water at one point, but I've done more jail time than you, which is good. It's a good thing. I don't want you in jail ever.
Steve?
Yeah.
Never done hard time?
No, never done. I haven't done any time. No.
All right. Well, that needs to change.
Got a goal now.
Next trip.
I'm the freak. That's it.
Yeah,
that's
you are the
how
freak.
it goes. Yep. All right.
So,
So no prisoners for pen pals for you. All right, that's what I'm taking away.
well, I'm not. It's not a hard no. It's a. Let me mull it over.
All right. If you we'll leave it open for the next viewing, and if you want to hear about April Booth or Heather Breland.
Heather Breland looks like a smoke show. Who's that?
Well, she's had 345 views. And here's her
yeah.
swimsuit issue.
Whoa.
Or,
Look at those wagons.
those are definitely wagons. Going back to there.
So here's what I want to know.
Patience
Are these,
because I'm worth the wait.
is she? I mean, where were these pictures taken at Glamour Shots? Like where are you getting these photo opportunities?
Well, I think they're definitely, these are filtered.
Are they
and stuff.
pre-conviction?
Yeah.
Gotta be.
So I'm guessing she has access
Sounds
to
like-
the phone while she's in there.
Do they have like a photo booth in prison, or like what's?
They might. I mean, her buddy, her jail cell buddy might take them for her. I don't know.
Hey, I got that.
Like
She's a mom
you
to
gotta
a
go?
Chihuahua.
I got a farm report lined up.
Oh.
Shit. Yeah.
It,
Okay.
we're getting back to basics. We strayed and we're coming back home today.
We
All
did
right.
stray, but dude, I've gotten positive
But it was goddamn
feedback
funny.
on last week's.
Really?
Yes, I have. 2 people have gone out of their way to tell me. The one guy, he was like, I didn't see it coming, so it like took him by surprise. He said he was laughing in his car. He had to stop the episode because he was laughing so hard. So that was one, and then the other one reached out and she just basically said, like, hey, how fucking dumb was that, and how brilliant? Like at the same time, how could it be so dumb and so brilliant at the same time? So yeah, I had 2 positives.
It's like my life story.
Smartest dumb guy I ever met.
All right, I'll be back in,
Okay.
it should be 40 minutes.
Okay, but
All right,
Jefe,
awesome.
think about this in the meantime. Heather Breland, I
Mm-hmm.
enjoy gambling, playing cards, darts, and shopping.
Oh shit.
What?
Okay.
Oh shit.
Now go.
She's
Now go
tailor
back.
made for you.
Now go back to work.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Have a good one.
Oh shit. She's into darts. Do you know how much they would have in common? How much they'd have to talk about?
At least 3 things.
At
At
least
least.
3 things. That's like
And her big
like
boobs.
someone. I meet someone who's like, yeah, I'm into podcasting, martial arts, and I work with kids. Like, what?
She's like perfect.
What?
For him.
Oh, Jefe. God damn it. Still the best part of the show. I don't care what anyone says. He's the best part of this show.
All right, Joe's going to start searching the site too. Awesome. Very, very good.
Oh, yeah, definitely should.
I don't know, Tabby. I don't think she's ugly as fuck. I think she's okay.
I don't-
just
I
looking
mean,
to be
she's-
loved.
She's definitely heavily filtered. I give you that for sure.
Yeah, she totally.
It's interesting that you're only getting like, boobs up. I think there could be some questionable. I mean, I'm not saying 3 legs, but I'm saying, something
not.
going on down below.
She might not have any legs. You don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like anywhere from 0 to 3 legs, and one of those legs might be a penis. I'm just saying. Anyway, what's next? What do we got here?
This is hourly
Yeah.
struggle, and this is how the media is memory holing everything that Kamala has done.
Yeah.
The old guard regarding the Kamala Harris as border czar issue is staggering. For example, Axios, doing their best American Pravda impersonation, claimed that Harris never held such a title. And then they had to issue a retraction of that story because they themselves, used to refer to Harris as Biden's border czar. Now, before the "well, actually" crowd jumps in and claims that it was never an official title, I want to point out the following. No shit. America doesn't have official czars. It's a title used in a colloquial way, not as an official honorarium bequeathed upon conquerors of issues. As even Wikipedia explains, it's an informal title used for certain high-level officials in the US and the UK, typically granted broad powers to address a particular issue, which is what happened when Biden claimed that Harris had agreed to lead our efforts with Mexico in the Northern Triangle in stemming the migration at our southern border. For fuck's sake, if it sounds like a Romanov and acts like a Romanov, it's probably a czar. But the dishonesty goes well beyond this title kerfuffle, because the only reason to walk back the language of Harris as border czar is to admit that the border is a real problem and she didn't do a good job. Yes, I know the left wants to blame Republicans for not giving Democrats the border bill they were after, but that argument has fuck all to do with Harris. Allow me to explain via a sports ball metaphor. Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani have never won World Series titles. Charles Barkley and Karl Malone have no championship rings. Mark Martin doesn't have a Piston Cup. The list of people who have done stellar jobs and still not accomplished their goals is countless in human history. And when we fail, despite valiant efforts, we don't simply wash out the work that was done. The MVP doesn't always win the game. If Harris had gone to the border, worked with people on all sides of the issues, and put in the ground game to try to navigate towards a real, honest-to-God bipartisan solution, there would be no reason to try to memory hole her role as border czar. But she, like Biden, has no accomplishments in this arena, and only knows how to point to Republicans not giving in to Democratic demands, because that's how politics work in America. She didn't do the work, and somehow it's the other team's fault, and all this rhetoric about her title is nothing more than a distraction from her lack of effort, let alone accomplishments. I don't care if Harris herself used the phrase border czar or not. She sucks on the issue of the border, and the media is simply trying to split hairs over journalistic shorthand that's been used for nearly a century in order to distract and shift blame. Yes, she was obviously the border czar as described by Biden. No, she did nothing to solve the problem, because the only problem she sees is that other people are noticing how bad things at the border truly are in this administration. Harris being the border czar until it was inconvenient is no different than Biden being sharp as a tack until enough people saw through the lie. But then again, what do I know? Maybe these news outlets that are part of multi-billion-dollar companies really are correct and have our best interests at heart when they tell us that those attic noises and flickering gas lights are all part of our imagination. Anyways, cheers.
The guy is just
well
fantastic.
Said.
And again, he nails
sums it up all right there. And I think, the confusion is that the Kamala fans out there want to say that it was never an official title. And like he says very well, like, no shit, czars are never an official title, but they're a way to ascribe a responsibility on a certain issue. And I remember very clearly, don't try and tell me, don't gaslight me. I remember very clearly when she was put into, in fact, I'm pretty sure we railed on that in one of our episodes when she got nominated.
Yes, we did.
Yes. We fucking went off because it was like, well, that's only going to get worse. And so us and millions of other people all have proof that she was named the head of the border, whatever you want to call that. So, and I mean, again, it's they're just playing the same fucking card over and over. It's like a thing is a thing until we tell you it's not. And right now they're trying to tell us it's not, and we knew it was. So yeah, that guy's a great follow on TikTok. I believe he also has an X account, but I haven't followed him on there yet, but he's always spot on with his commentary. Good stuff.
5 hoaxes the media has launched this past week. Colin Rugg did a nice outline on these. Yes, yeah. Completely agree with him. CBS claims Trump is lying by saying Harris donated to Minnesota Freedom Fund, bailing out dangerous criminals during the George Floyd riots. Clearly supporting rioters. Harris promoted the fund on X
providing
and
a link.
Encouraged people to donate. Yes, you're goddamn right she did.
Yep.
President Biden had dropped out to save democracy. Biden was obviously forced out. There's absolutely no doubt that he was forced out. Zero doubt. JD Vance had sex with a couch cushion. Well, maybe he did. Here's the awkward thing.
Here's the thing. We can't disprove it.
No, we can't disprove it, but the AP fact-checked the claim, said it was false, then removed the article because it didn't go through their standing editing process. So they removed it out of technicality.
He wrote about a character in Hillbilly Elegy, which is, based on his experiences as a young man. Great book. Read the book. I read it for very different purposes than it's being made famous for now, but great read. In Hillbilly Elegy, a young man has sex with a rubber glove that's shoved in between two couch cushions. And I'm going to tell you right here on air, in full disclosure, I've had sex with weirder things. Moving on. So he writes about this in the book. Somebody jokes about it on a tweet, and then it catches fire, and it's like, oh, JD Vance had sex with a couch. I mean, that's the shorthand. And so it's, of course it's not true. But then, like you said, they published this article saying, no, he didn't actually have sex with a couch. It was just written in his book. But then, since they can't actually publicly claim that he didn't, because they don't have any proof that he didn't, they had to remove it. And here we are, left with this myth that's out there that he's somehow looking at Shay's lounges and drooling. Unbelievable. How do we get here, dude? How do we get here?
Well,
Nuts.
It's like the left has just been waiting and holding all of this in, and now it's just this rage fest that's coming out, and they can't help themselves. Now they're even saying Kamala Harris was not a DEI pick for vice president. President Biden made it clear in 2020 that's why he was picking her. Because 100%. Of her gender and her skin color. This is racist Joe Biden, remind you. Okay.
Right. The guy who advocated for segregation.
Yes. You can't tell me this wasn't a DEI hire. And also, if you're going to argue against that, then aren't you arguing against DEI hires in general? Like, aren't you saying DEI hires are bad?
Yeah, you're actually saying, oops, that's not why I hired her, because DEI hires that's a bad idea. No shit. Go ask Cheadle. She was a DEI hire, and all the DEI hires that were there that day, who couldn't holster a gun, who didn't know what to do, who ducked behind the stage, all those things. And again, this isn't even about male, female, whatever. But here's the deal. A job like the Secret Service, a Secret Service agent, you better get that shit on merit. You fucking better be there because you're the best of the best of the best. You don't get that job. I mean, we all saw Men in Black. Like, you don't get that job. You don't even get asked to try out for that job unless you're the best of the best of the best. And we did not see that day, not even close. So then you have to default to, I mean, we would be having the same conversation if a 360-pound white guy was out there and couldn't make it to the president before the 8 shots got off because he was too busy trying to get up the stairs. This is not a male-female issue. This is those people shouldn't have been there. They were not qualified. And we have shit like that going on. It's incompetence. And
dare I use the dirty word?
Every level of our country.
Dare I use the dirty word merit?
Yeah, exactly. It should be a meritocracy. 100%. Now, the opportunities to build merit and to prove yourself should be equal. That I agree with. But at the end of the day, you wouldn't, I mean, are we going to start having DEI hires in the UFC? I guarantee you, Dana White is never going to put a person who shouldn't be in the ring. He's never going to put their life in danger just because he needs to meet DEI quotas. The people he puts in those rings are the baddest motherfuckers on the planet, and male and female. And likewise, he's not going to put a female fighter up against a male fighter. That's just stupid. You're asking someone to get really hurt. It's if you look at the common sense things that are happening in our society, you go, oh, well, yeah, of course that makes sense. And then you see other shit and you're like, but wait, why is this not across the board? Why are we not having this? Like you said, the big word, the capital M in the room is merit. If you're not the best of the best, get the fuck out.
It's a dirty word, man. We don't want the best of the best. We want everybody to feel good. We want equality for everybody, regardless of whether you have worked for it. Here, let's listen to a little bit more Kamala, because I think she really drives this home. Here.
Oh, good.
It has to be about a goal of saying everybody should end up in the same place. And since we didn't start in the same place, some folks might need more. Equitable distribution.
Giving resources based on equity, understanding that we fight for equality, but we also need to fight for equity, understanding not everyone starts out at the same place.
So there's a big difference between equality and equity. Equality suggests often everybody should get the same thing. Well, that often assumes everybody started out in the same place, as opposed to equity, which is everyone should end up in the same place. And if you then understand not everybody started out in the same place, you understand some people need more. So we all end up in the same place.
So the Democratic Party is now having a communist run for office. And by the way, Democrat voters did not get to vote for her in the primary.
Right. That's
Enjoy the
journey.
Point.
Yeah, important point right there. And somebody, did you see someone this week ran through? They put Kamala Harris's all of her speeches through AI, and they asked what her political affiliation, but it was not affiliation. I forget the word they used, but basically the AI spit out, and they were like, "Oh, she's definitely a communist."
Yeah,
she definitely ascribes to the communist. Yeah. Manifesto.
Yep, communist associate. Yep, she came out as communist and socialist. That's how it broke.
Yep. I think it's really quick. It's probably worth discussing a really important video that came out a few years ago. I don't remember when, but it's a very powerful video. And if you haven't seen it, go out and look it up. Just look up football coach talks about equality. Something like that. A high school football coach talks about equality because he was a high school football coach. So he's running this camp, and I'll be brief, I promise. But he's running this summer camp for football players getting ready for the next school year, and he wants to make a point. So he has everybody line up on one of the goal lines at one of the ends of the field. They're all standing on the same line, and he says, "Okay, if you had two parents who aren't divorced, take a step forward." So a bunch of guys take a step forward, and he says, "Okay, if your family brought in more than, I think he said $70,000 a year, take a step forward." So he goes through all of these things, and pretty soon you see a bunch of African American black guys still standing on the fucking goal line, and you see a bunch of white guys that are almost at the 50-yard line. And his point is, he's like, okay, if we start this race, those guys back there are going to have to work a lot fucking harder to beat you than you do. You could pretty much jog and beat them because you have a 45-yard head start. And so the point is well taken that we don't all start from the same point. I get it, Kamala. We're not trying to deny that. But what we're saying is this football coach's point was, I'm giving you all the same opportunity, and I am, because what he did at the end of the video was fantastic, which was he said, now everybody get back to the fucking goal line. You're all equals here. You're all the same guy to me. Now prove yourselves. Go. So he gave everybody the same opportunity to start on the same line to see what you got. And that's the way it has to be. It's not about bringing up people artificially and saying, oh, you had a bad start to life here. Don't worry about X, Y, and Z so that now you can catch up to all the other. No, it's saying no matter who walks in for that interview, you treat them the same as the last guy, as the last girl, as the last person. You treat them all the same. And then you take the person who's best qualified for that job. Period. All right, that's my last rant of the night, I promise.
Oh, I think you're just warming up because that was great. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah,
that's what it fucking comes down to. BLM hates Kamala. I cracked up at this. We need to touch on this here real quick. While Joe Biden wasn't our preferred candidate, we cannot ignore the troubled actions of the Democratic Party. The DNC refused to host debates during the primary, even though a vast majority of Democratic voters wanted them. This would have likely allowed America to see the decline of Joe Biden in 2023. The DNC changed the primary schedule and created rules that made it almost impossible for non-Biden candidates to appear on the ballot, effectively clearing the field for any challengers to the incumbent president. Following the primary, where millions of black voters weighed in after one poor debate performance, the DNC elites and billionaire donors bullied Joe Biden out of the race. Very poignant, very direct statement from BLM. I think they've got a long way to go to recover, but this was a nice start.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, they're actually advocating for democracy, which
Crazy
the Democrats
concept.
don't know anything about anymore. Yeah, I agree. I think you said it perfectly. They have a long way to go, but nice opening volley here. That's a good start.
I don't want, and we can go to break after this, but I don't want people to freak out over what's happening right now because she only has momentum because it's this week, right? People are excited that
It's artificial
Joe,
too. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
People are only excited because Joe's gotten out of the way. That's it. Fact of we talked about this last week. There was about $90 million that was held back from big donors. Okay. They were not going to put anything towards Biden's campaign until he was gone. So the coup happens, and then all of a sudden, $81 million just suddenly pops up from Act Blue. Now go back to 2020 when O'Keefe Media went out, whether you like O'Keefe Media or not, doesn't matter.
Yes.
Look at the reporting. O'Keefe Media went around asking people, did you know that you sent $20 to Act Blue? And time again, people had no idea that was happening.
Yep.
Well, lo and behold, you have this glut of money that's being distributed over a wide selection of people who have given in the past that suddenly ends up in Biden's account. It's not a stretch to think that suddenly you've got 2 or 3 big donors that want to go and throw $20 million a piece in and have it distributed over a bunch of different donors. I guarantee you that the money's going to drop off.
Yeah. Sorry, all I was going to say is they also, Act Blue also took off, you don't have to verify your credit card. As long as the payment goes through, they don't care who you are. So that's also very suspect. As long as the charge goes through, you don't have to verify anything about who you are, where you live, your demographics, nothing. So what do you know? It's really easy. McShane, did you know it's really easy to get a prepaid credit card?
Yep.
And really that transaction is not traced.
Nope.
Anybody can get a prepaid credit card for any amount and send it to anyone. We do it all the time at work. Hey, here's a $20 Visa gift card because you're a fucking awesome employee. There's no trace to that. They get to go spend that wherever they want, however they want. Unbelievable.
So that's the Kamala business from this week. I think I truly, and I do believe this. She's a sacrificial lamb. She's going to get annihilated. I don't think there's going to be a lot of hope for the Democratic Party going forward. You're going to hear a lot of bizarre stuff that's going to come out. I think she's going to get absolutely crushed. I think they're throwing the election. You can also go ahead and put in, I think what's also going to happen next is that Trump gets in, we go to war, they crash the economy, and we get, I'm not saying the apocalypse under Trump, but it's going to be very, very difficult. And I think I've said this before. If I haven't, then you're going to have your Messiah come in from the liberal party, which is going to make things extremely difficult. I'm projecting here.
Yep.
this
No,
is just.
I think, as a product that we are putting out, this show, I think we try really we try really hard to walk that line carefully of like, are we conspiracy? Maybe, but we don't give a shit. Or, hey, this has been fact checked and you can verify it. This is complete conjecture by McShane right now. I'm saying, as Fitz, as an individual, as Whiskey Hell as a podcast, I think that's likely. I do, because if you look at, we've got polls out there that, again, X doing a fantastic job, but we've got polls out there that came out and said that Kamala has a 2-point, lead on Trump. And then someone goes and does some fact checking and finds out that there was actually 4 to 6% more Democrats asked in that poll than Republicans. So it was like, 1,056 Democrats and like 800 or 900 Republicans. And so that 2-point spread gets a lot smaller if you have the same number of Republicans and Democrats being interviewed or being polled. So they're artificially just doing little things that, to the average human, like, why would you, you're busy taking care of your kids and going to your fucking job and trying to keep your car running, et cetera, et cetera. Why would you go and even ask how many Democrats or Republicans were polled? You're just seeing the results of the poll, that more people want Kamala than Trump. Oh, okay. But it's so artificial. It's so skewed. It's twisted to the point to their advantage. And I think you're absolutely right, McShane. We all remember, well, maybe not all of us. We've got some younger listeners out there, but I remember very well the landslide that Reagan pulled off in the 1980 election. And even in the 84 election was even worse. It was fucking incredible. And so I think it's going to be like that. And I don't think there's a way they can hide it. I don't think they can just steal an election this time, because it won't be close enough that they can dump off 20 ballots here, steal 100,000 there. It's going to be like, 100 million to 50 million Trump versus Harris and Kamala. And they can't fudge those numbers. So they're going to have to eat it. And when they eat it, they're going to just do all those things that you said. That's totally my prediction as well. I am absolutely open to anybody and everyone who wants to come at us and be like, you were dead fucking wrong in 3 years. But right now I'm sticking to that. Yeah, please.
Hell, we'll say it right off on election night. We'll say it. No worries.
Yep.
We'll
Yep.
All right. Beer 2?
And, beer 2. And on that point, as we go to halftime here, I want everyone to think about what has happened in the last 3 months. Really, truly. Stop and think what has happened between now, because we're almost in August. Let's call it August. So August is the 9th month. So go back to, June, the 6th month, right?
Yep.
Is that right? Let's even go back to the end of May and everything that's happened since then. Well, now let's fast forward from August to the next 3 months. What do you think? Do you think this is going to slow down? Because I don't. I mean, the opening ceremonies at the Olympics tells me shit's about to ramp up. We're just getting started. So buckle your seatbelts, folks. We're not slowing down here. We had a couple of slow weeks, but I said it. McShane said it. It feels like they're just giving us a little bit of a rest before they really start to, pump out the machine. And here we are. So, so my point is, you said, well, we'll say it on election night. There's a lot of shit that can happen between now and election night, dude. A lot. So fun stuff.
All right. We'll be back with you in a minute. Beard, Moxie, we see you guys. Thanks for jumping in. Be back in a minute.
Yep.
All right. So beer 2. So I'm rolling super heavy on this one. This is a 15.1.
Oh, jeez.
Oh yeah. And when I saw it though, I went to Bottle Shop 48 down in your mom's neck of the woods on my way home from Flagstaff today, and I didn't want to stop in Flags. I just did that a few weeks ago, so it was like I don't want to do any Flagstaff beers. So I went ahead and I stopped there and I grabbed a beer, a nice little refreshing, get me going for the rest of the ride home. And I saw this one, knowing full well we were going to get into the horrifying occult scene that happened last night in the Olympics, and figured this just completely matches where we're going to take the show. So I really was pretty jacked when I saw it. This is called Patricide by Nightmare Brewing Company. I've not had one of their beers before. I don't think we've had one on the stout or on the show. Have we?
Nightmare? Oh God, yeah. I've had like 3 or 4. Remember, we always talk about their artwork. It's just fucking incredible.
It's horrifying.
It always fits the beer. Yeah, it's great
it's
stuff.
Truly a nightmare. Yeah. But I'll just read this off. Let me start by saying that I love my father and that he's an amazing parent. That being said, this is him being decapitated by some ductwork.
Excellent.
This is an imperial stout. Patricide is cold aged on toasted coconut, Ecuadorian cocoa, and Madagascan vanilla. Anyway, I saw this, and you guys can go to the nightmarebrewingco.com, and everything that they've got on there is just horrible. Horrifying. It's all torture.
Yeah. It's all a nightmare. I mean, that's what makes it so great. Yeah.
Yeah, it's some really, really, really gruesome stuff. And it doesn't matter the beer. It's not like it gets worse with the type of beer, because you've got a Schwartz beer here that is some kind of awful demon pouring something into a funnel in a guy's mouth who's tied down. The artwork is
that's right out of Three Kings. The scene where they're putting the CDs in his mouth and pouring the oil in him. That's like
geez.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, their artwork it's incredible. It's great. I don't even know who the artist is, but the and also their beers. I mean, they roll heavy, guys. They're like, most of their beers are 12 plus. And I'm even going to say most of their good beers are 14 plus. So they don't fuck around. They are an absolute nightmare, but I kind of feel like if you're not in touch with your dark side, then it's probably ruling you more than you think.
Well, apparently this one pairs really well with Cowboys from Hell. So,
the Pantera song?
Pantera.
Yeah, right. Yes. Yep.
And thank you,
That's
Moxie.
a great song, by the way.
Moxie, this is a Saturday night for me. All right, I'm going to try this thing. Oh, fuck. Oh, that burn, the vanilla's there. The cocoa makes your mouth pucker. It's the deep, like in gnarly, dark chocolate, unrefined, raw. If this one warms up, whoa, that's a fucking beer. And it's not even hot. It's not even hot. It's not.
No, the last Nightmare Brewing beer that I had on the show, I had the exact same experience, which is it was super high ABV, and I'm like, I just remember thinking, this is frightening. This is literally a nightmare, because you're drinking this not knowing you're getting absolutely plowed. Oh. You're essentially doing shots, and are unaware of it. You think you're drinking water, or hot chocolate.
That's a beer. Good Lord, I may have to go back and get a few of those and cellar them. That's some gnarly stuff. Wow.
Well, that's a
All
good
right.
find. I'm glad you guys are finally getting Nightmare down there because like I said, we've had it here for a while and just love that brewery. And anytime I find one, I don't even care what's in it or on the I just buy it. Like it's gonna be good.
All right, what you got?
First of all, honorable mention to Block 15, which is a brewery here, a local brewery here in Eugene. They do a lot of great stuff. They've got a great gastropub here in town. But they are putting out this hazy IPA, which I have, full disclosure for those of you who are kind of new to this, to Whiskey Hell. I'm not a huge IPA fan, although this time of year in the summer, I definitely imbibe more than I would in the winter. Winter, I'm pretty much a porter stout brown guy. And I ain't just talking about beer. Hello, ladies. Anyway, but in the summer, I'll go for a hazy. I'll always try a hazy. And Block 15 put out this hazy called Fluffhead. And it's my side bitch tonight. And Fluffhead is surprisingly refreshing. Very clean, very fruity, very light, but also a 7% beer. So I just wanted to give them honorable mention. It could have been actually a show beer. Really solid stuff. So better. I guess I'll say better than a side bitch. This one could be like a main bitch. Yeah. Anyway,
All right.
my main bitch for my second beer is called Checkered Flannel, and I do want to quickly mention another shout out to Aaron and all the beers that he sent our way. I have been enjoying them all week. I think my favorite is probably the one that you had last week, McShane, the orange cream ale.
Yeah.
I
Really
just
good.
delighted in that beer. I did. I enjoyed every last ounce of that beer. I would buy that again like twice on Sunday. Really, really well done. That's been my favorite. But they've all been good. So, but I didn't do another one this week just because I wanted to get to this one. Checkered Flannel from Mount Tabor Brewing. And do we hear a Jefe? Yeah, we have a Jefe. Jefe, what's up, man?
You do.
Hi. Hi.
Hey, I'm gonna quickly get done with my second beer here because my second beer is not nearly as important as you being here. So this is a brown ale, 6.8%, I believe. I just was in the mood for to keep it dark tonight, so I went with a brown. Plus, a good brown, if it has the flavor notes that I'm hoping it does, you just can't go wrong with it. So let me see what we got here. Oh yeah. Okay. So here's what I'm talking about. It's malty. It's caramely. It's clean. It finishes just, you have the last little gulp and it's done. A little bit of the maple and coffee notes linger, but those are not the notes up front. The notes up front are the malt and the caramel. Really very nice. Very nice beer. Wow. Great choice, Fitz. This is super good. Anyway,
Not a dirty brown?
no, not a dirty brown at all. You can see all the way to the bottom of this girl's pretty parts. This is a down blouse. It's like a down blouse brown, and they're solid.
Okay. Down blouse brown needs to be a beer.
Yep.
I'm telling you, Whiskey Hell Brew Company needs to happen.
Down blouse brown. I'm adding that to the doc, so we got it. Sorry, go ahead, Jefe.
Okay.
I don't know if it's still a law, but I know it used to be here in Arizona, where they would lock up the alcohol in stores at like 2 a.m. on a Saturday night, and they'd stay locked until a certain time Sunday, maybe noon or 10 a.m. Because it wasn't the typical 2 a.m. and then open it up at 6 a.m. It was something special for Sundays. They still do that?
I don't know. I don't think so. I
Yeah,
mean, in most stores, in most stores, unless it's like the really good liquor, they don't lock it up at all. And then all the other most liquor stores close at 2 a.m. out here anyway. So unless it's like a Circle K or like a Quickie Mart or something like that. So, but then you're asking for the liquor behind the counter anyway. So
yeah,
I don't think so.
Yeah, we stopped serving here at 2, and we have people that wait around, like keep playing and keep waiting until 6 a.m. when we start serving again.
Oh my God.
Hardcore.
That is hardcore. That's a special kind of alcoholic. I've talked about this before, but Oregon, it was a major culture shock because on Sundays, like you're talking about, Jefe, on Sundays, liquor stores are closed at 8 p.m. here. 8 p.m. And
what?
during the week, 8.
Oh, yeah.
And during the week, they're closed at 10. And really a lot of them, they have to close by 10. A lot of them close by, especially after COVID, a lot of them close by 8:30, 9 o'clock. So there was one night.
American.
Oh, it's a fucking travesty. One night, the wife and I had just a rough day, road trip in it, and we got lost, and it just, it's just one of those days where you're like, I want to get home, and I want a fucking whiskey. I just to decompress, I need some liquor in my veins. But we didn't get back into town until like 10, and we went searching this entire town, and every liquor store was closed, every single one of them. And it was a Saturday night. So be glad that you're open. You guys have them open till 2. Everything shuts down around here. It's a sleepy little backwards ass town. There's parts of it I love, but that part sucks. Anyway, Jefe.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to say the words that I know everyone's been dying to hear. Farm report.
Bring it. Farming superstitions. If you ever use a piece of farming machinery, like a backhoe to dig a grave on your property, you should never again use it for your agricultural work. It's bad luck. Also, sometimes a solitary tree can get in the way of a farmer trying to harvest shit, Well, you just got to work around it. You can't cut that down. You can't even trim it, because that can anger the spirits that reside within its trunk, and they will bring much bad luck to you. And finally, something that's, good luck to eat your lunch atop of a bale of hay or something, overlooking the work you've done so far that day. But it's important. It's crucial even to leave behind a few crumbs from your lunch. Failure to do so could anger the fairies of the field, and they will bring bad luck to your farm from that day forward. And that's your farm report.
That was the most rad farm report you've done. That is fantastic.
Dude.
That's freaky. That so matches tonight too.
Oh yeah, because we're about to head into the Olympics,
wow.
the occult Olympics, which I've dubbed the Olympics. Dude, actually, there's something to that, and you guys know I had a phase in my life where I got into the whole Celtic, actually getting into being a druid phase of my life, where I just wanted to reestablish my roots with my Irish ancestors. But one of the things that they're really big into is the Green Man and the fairies of the forest and all those things that you were talking about. And I think a lot of the farmers, to your point, Jefe, a lot of the farmers that came here were of Celtic descent. They were the North Germans, the Irish, the Northern English, Scotsmen, who really believed in those sort of Mother Nature spirits. And so I've got a bottle tree in my garden that I made, and the bottle tree is there to capture all the evil spirits that are in your garden. And funny enough, a group of very angry hornets decided to make a nest up inside of one of those bottles. And so it worked because I saw it. They were all up in there, and we were able to kill them pretty easily because they were trapped in a bottle. So it works. It's good stuff.
That's
great.
creepy.
Great farm report. That's good hitting stuff right there.
We're back in our wheelhouse.
Creepy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're jamming.
Well, that was fantastic. It's almost as amazing as what happened last night in the Olympics. Fitz, the French have managed to completely alienate Christians across the world. And it only took 4 hours on worldwide TV.
Okay. So, you guys know the older millennial, that guy with the big beard. He's on TikTok, and he had a pretty great take on all of this. And I'm going to sort of borrow from him, but basically, to sum it all up in 5 seconds, is what did any of that stuff that they did in the opening, what did any of that have to do with the Olympics?
Yeah.
Why are you showing all of this old Greek and old Christian mythology and symbology? I mean, everything down to the fucking golden path. Why are you showing all of this? What does that have to do with a bearded lady? What does that have to do with amazing athletes being sent from all over the world to compete against one another? I mean, wasn't the Olympics created to stop war? Wasn't it like, hey, why don't we stop killing each other and just get all of our best dudes together, and we'll make them, fight, compete against each other athletically and not actually kill each other? Like, that's the spirit of the Olympics. The Olympics has actually stopped wars. They've actually put wars on hold so they could have the Olympics. And then this. What the fuck is going on? I don't know. Jefe, what's your take? Because I know you're gonna have to leave soon, and I value kind of what your take was on all this.
I haven't been paying a lot of attention to it, but from the things that I did see, it felt like, the Democrats from the United States went over there and said, "We got this. We got some ideas," and they just went with it, like. I mean, some of the stuff was, I don't know. Are they like reliving French history?
Part of it, yeah. You had a decapitated, Marie Antoinette,
right?
Yeah,
that's all fine, and good, but I don't know. I to be honest, I've never really watched an opening ceremony.
Oh, really?
Just caught pieces of, like when in China they barbecued all the pigeons. That was fun.
Oh yeah. Oh, I think that was Korea. When they did that.
Korea?
Yeah, that was Korea. That was pretty fantastic. I mean, I think the Chinese, I mean, to date, I think theirs was the best. That
was,
They had like 5,000 drummers in perfect unison. I mean, it was such a representation of who the Chinese are, like that hive mind. It was just amazing. And then, I mean, here the French are invoking the fucking pale horse from Revelations, from like we all saw Tombstone. We know the fucking prophecy that the pale horse shows up and on him rode death. What are we doing?
I don't know.
And death has the Olympic flag around him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Was there like a think tank and they all threw ideas out, and then who decided this was the way to go? I don't.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
there's so much symbology there. Like you said, McShane, the old one where there was nurses dancing around like a death ward and stuff, and then bam, we have COVID. If this is in any way prophetic, they're evoking
some
Revelations, which is which is all about the apocalypse.
it was definitely concerning, and the response, especially from the IOC, the International Olympic Committee today, has been overwhelming. In fact, they've gone so dark that they're just issuing DMCA notices. Everything's been taken down off of YouTube. You would not know that the French had an opening ceremony. There is nothing on their website.
No, they wiped it. They've wiped it clean. And I just quickly, Tabby in chat. Yes, they did evoke a lot of Greek mythology, a lot of homage to the Greeks because the Olympics started in Greece. But they did it in a way that also disparaged Christianity. And listen, I'm going to say it right here up front so nobody can accuse me otherwise. I'm not a fan of Christianity. A lot of evil shit's been done in the name of Christ our Lord.
Well, a lot of evil shit's been done in the name of religion as a whole.
Period. Exactly. So I'm not a fan of religion, but to specifically make fun of the Last Supper, to specifically evoke the pale horse, these things are not, you can't just pass it off as, well, it's just Greek. No, you're actually going after sort of the roots of Christianity and also the roots of where the Bible started, the Old Testament, which is the Jews. And let's not even bring in that angle as what's going on in the Middle East right now. Yeah. So I've heard that argument that it's like, oh, it's just the French's take on Greek mythology.
No,
you know what?
That was a message.
There's a lot
of message that was sent.
Yeah, there's a lot of fucking ways to bring in the Greeks without making it Christian at all. The Greeks did a lot of really cool shit that we could have talked about, that we could have had symbology for. All of the Greek pantheon, the gods, the heroes, any of that could have been evoked, and it would have been like, wow, that's about amazing humans doing amazing shit. No, this was about dudes with their ball sacks hanging out, making fun of Christianity. It was pointed. It was directed.
They had a platform. They were making a point. There's even been articles that go as far as to blame the United States for this. But the overwhelming culture that's going on here is a globalist agenda. I'm going to go ahead and broach it. I'm going to call it what it is. This is WEF kind of stuff. This is cult type things that they're doing here. This is an underlying, I'm going to sound like Alex Jones for a second. Fuck, I didn't want to do this, but here I am.
Do it, brother.
You have a cult taking on Christianity, using Islam to populate nations around the world. I'm not going to go as far as say pollute, but to dilute. To reduce the reach of Christianity. This is a holy war. You've got a made-up cult that is actually only supported by probably maybe 2 or 3% of the world overall. And they're putting it front and foremost in front of everybody daily. Whether it be through the Olympics here, DEI, the whole EU, the EU is done for. That's what this actually is. That's where we actually are. So that was really insulting. I could see where Christians would be incredibly pissed off.
Yeah, and to your point, Tabby, because I was thinking the same thing. I think all religions are a cult. I mean, that's kind of their defining quality, right? I mean, cults are just like smaller religions. And they tend to do like really dramatic, crazy shit. But that's all a cult is a small religion. So yeah, Christianity is just a big cult. I mean, that's what religion is. The problem is, Christianity is standing for. I really can't argue our bad things. And I'm saying, what they pretend to stand for, which is, love thy neighbor, don't kill everybody, don't steal.
There's pollution at levels. Pollution's at levels.
Yeah, of course. And again, I mentioned the priests that have sex with little kids. That's not okay. But what the occult is standing for is, I mean, literally the imagery that they were evoking was a decapitated Marie Antoinette, the pale horse that starts the apocalypse, a way fucking wigged out weird Last Supper with every kind of sex there except hetero. There might have been a hetero girl in there. I don't know. Again, people with their genitals hanging out of their shorts, that kind of stuff. So if you're looking at just
and there were
merits,
kids, and there was a kid on that stage. There was a kid on that fucking stage.
Exactly. And if that was your kid, you'd be going to fucking war right now. That wasn't even my kid, and I want to go to war right now. So, like, on the surface, if you want to look at what Christians, Muslims, put them all in there, Jews, they really are as a religion, they're purporting good things and living as a good person. Now, what the problem with that is that people are in those religions, and people will always corrupt whatever they can. But when you have
evil,
when you have a cult or a religion that's starting off with the fact that having sex with kids is okay, it's just maps. They're just minor attracted persons. Fuck you. If that's your starting point, you should be ostracized. Again, I don't want to condone any violence against anybody, but man, I don't want you as my fucking neighbor. I just don't.
And this isn't gay Paris, right? Because Paris has always had this free love, very open, very sexual. Oh, yeah. They've always been like that. Okay, got it. Cool. This was overt. It was a blatant attack on any kind of fundamental religion that was not what they wanted up there. Can you imagine if they had done something that was and I'm surprised that Islam isn't a little bit pissed off about this.
Yeah,
why are we seeing more
quiet.
Islamists a little pissed off about it? Maybe that's because there's so many Islamists in France.
Yeah, maybe. I think that's a good point. And I also, one last point I want to make. This I don't see anything that these people did, as Satanist or paganist. I think those things get confused with the occult because there's a lot of Satanist and paganist symbolism in the occult. But yes, Satanism and paganism, those are legit religions too. They're legit cults too that aspire for individualism and being autonomous and being one with nature. I can't argue with any of that either. But again, good people can be part of those things and still be really good neighbors and be good people to each other. What we saw in the opening ceremonies was evoking, well, honestly, it was evoking hedonism and violence over being a good person. Period.
Well,
period.
Yeah. And if you're not part of that club, if you don't subscribe to that, you're not welcome. The whole point, this individual who directed this, Jefe, you guys can look him up.
Yes.
I've got it someplace. I'll post it in show notes. The whole point, he wanted everybody to be included. That was not inclusive. There was nothing lovely about that.
No.
That was a sexually perverse rave. And I'm not a prude. And I'm stepping back and I'm looking at this subjectively and I'm thinking, okay, would I want my kids to be watching this? Are my kids getting a good taste of what France is like? I don't want my family to ever go to France because now I know what's really going on in France. Yeah. No, it's not. And when we look at what the IOC has done today, issuing DCA notices, making sure that all the content is being taken down, making sure that you can't send those clips that we have linked to the doc, which may not be there when you go to show notes, that screams that they fucked up. And they know they did. And they are not apologizing for it. There is nothing apologetic about it. Macron tweeted yesterday, "This is France." This is also a dude who we sure. Well, let's make sure that we go ahead and the elephant in the room with him is that we're pretty sure that his wife is a dude who transitioned, which is fine.
For sure.
But now he's pushing it on everybody else. This is the Olympic Games.
He's also a WEF puppet.
He definitely is a WF lap boy. Absolutely.
Yep. And why was the IOC not part of what? How come they didn't approve all of this? Like, how come they weren't a part of the process of approving
they had to have.
What the opening ceremonies were going to look like?
They had to have.
Okay, so why are they now retracting that? Why are they saying, oh, nope, we don't approve of this?
Well, who sponsors the IOC?
Well, I don't.
Where does the money come from?
I'm sure
we can look at it.
WEF.
So sponsors for last night. Hold on, I've got this someplace. Please hold.
Okay. McShane's always prepared.
I do have this.
You know what?
Damn it! I'll have to find it. But you look at who was sponsoring this show. You had Coca-Cola, Pfizer. You had, I think Intel was on there. When you look at who's buying, hell, Peyton Manning was doing play-by-play.
Yeah.
That's a little weird.
Not a good look, Peyton. Just saying. Not a good look,
Not that you sponsored it, but there's a lot of weird Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
Snoop
And
Dogg.
You know what? Have you seen the pictures of Snoop Dogg's necklace that he was wearing?
Yeah, the golden bull.
Yeah.
God
God damn it. They even got to Snoop Dogg? Because you can't tell me that a fucking dude like that who grew up where he grew up knows anything about the fucking golden calf. He didn't know shit about that. But now that he's in the elite circles of Hollywood, music, entertainment, all of that, now he's wearing a fucking golden calf necklace?
Out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
Dude, he never used to rock that in the past. No.
He was rocking fucking South Compton big giant golden diamond necklaces, dude. They've taken all of our heroes and they've corrupted them. And if they did nothing else, I would still be incensed enough that this is all out war. And then on top of it, they've done all the other shit. It's insanity.
Coca-Cola, Delta, Eli Lilly, Toyota Motor Corp, Visa, Comcast, Xfinity. C-Spire, technology company out of, I think it's Missouri, I believe. I think I've got that in show notes here. Yes.
Yeah, they were like, peace out. This is horrifying. We don't want to be a part of it.
Pulls out of Olympics advertising after opening ceremony displays, many deemed to be anti-Christian. I am not sitting here saying that any religion should be valued over another. We're just calling attention to the bullshit that is insulting the rest of the world. Like you were saying earlier, I think you put it very eloquently. The Olympics are here for peace, right? We're supposed to be bringing people together. We're supposed to be creating one world, right? Through competition, healthy competition, where everybody can say at the end of the day, we all tried as hard as we could using our given gifts, whether you believe wherever they're coming from, your DNA, all your hard work, to be an amazing individual, an example. And this is the stuff that we've got to work through. I don't want to look at the rest of the Olympics. I don't have anything to do with it. And I love the Olympics. You know this.
Same.
4 years. We did 2 or 3 shows back to back to back that had us doing some play-by-play on some Olympics because, well, it was interesting to us. We talked about fucking fencing. Okay?
Yeah, we did.
But I'm not compelled to do that this time because we had to make it political. We had to make it this social agenda that has done nothing but pollute. And I'm not knocking the LGBTQ community, but what I am saying is this makes you guys look really bad.
Yeah.
You could have had the LGBTQ community involved in this, and everybody could have been, it could have been one big family party. It didn't have to get fucking weird. You didn't have to do a catwalk. You didn't have to make it sexual. And you could have had France be an outstanding world just figure. But you didn't do that. You had to go Pornhub with it. And that's sick.
Yep. It's absolutely a complete collapse of common sense. I mean, truly. You don't, this is not how you sway. I don't, why is the left, and I guess maybe I'm about to answer my own question. Why is the left so violent in their opposition? Is it because
they can't control their
emotions?
They
feel like they've been either that or they've been oppressed for so long that they feel like the only way to really make their point is to just, stick it in and break it off. Cause that's what I feel like is happening. Like,
see, I think you went there last week and I thought you said it's not to, just gush over it, but you were very on point about this. They can't control their emotions. They lack reason.
Yeah. Yeah. And that, listen, that doesn't have to mean that you're perpetually going to be relegated to the minority, but damn it, man. The rest of us are out here trying to have like a reasonable conversation about maybe some things that have gone wrong in the past that we'd like to fix. And then you come over the top and start, killing people with a dildo with blades on it. Like, that's not the way to get your point across.
Okay. There needs to be a dildo wielding, like superhero,
Marvel.
Can you imagine like a mace that was a dildo and it was like bladed?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a great transition.
Really effectual. Really quick to Mike's point, the left is supposed to be about kindness, and yet they're always the most violent. There's a video going around right now of it's an airplane. A guy sits down in his seat. He's not a big guy. He's not taking up space. He's not crowding anyone. He's just sitting there, but he's wearing a MAGA hat. And this woman next to him, this liberal freak, freaks out and starts badgering him. So he's like, what the fuck? He calls over the flight attendant. The flight attendant's like, says to the woman, you need to cease and desist or you're going to get kicked off this plane. She can't help herself. So she's like, because the woman's like, I want a new seat. I want to exchange with someone. And the flight attendant's like, I'm sorry. I'm not going to do that. I can't do that. He's not doing anything. He's just sitting there. And so eventually, long story short, the woman and her husband are on this flight because the husband's mother has passed away. And they're, quote unquote, going back home to see his mother. But the wife raises such a stink because this guy's a MAGA. She doesn't want to sit next to him. They actually get kicked off the fucking plane. The husband does everything he can to try and keep them on that flight so they can get back for his mom's funeral. And the wife won't let it go. She can't let it go. If you want to see mental illness, just put out in front of God and everybody, go find the video because it's amazing. And you can just watch her. There's several points at which if she just were to shut the fuck up, everything would be fine. It would go away. And she cannot help herself. No. And she's a white woman married to a white guy. It's not like she's been oppressed her whole life. She's got no leg to stand on, and yet she cannot shut the fuck up. It's amazing. So I don't know. I think we're up against, like I said last week, and like you said a few weeks ago, it's a mental illness, and we're going to have to treat it as such. It really needs to be dealt with on a clinical level because you can't reason with these people.
And and people are upset because people love their country. They wave flags and want things to be better. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. All right. So let's go ahead and refocus on this bizarre happening.
Olympics. Yes.
So
yeah.
Cleansing the palate, right? And before the opening ceremonies even happened, we had French railways being sabotaged. The company narrative that came out was, well, it's got to be Russia. It's Russia. I'm not ruling it out, but I don't know how you go right to Russia when you have France, which has been under heavy rioting from illegals. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Illegal immigrants.
For years. And especially in the last 6 months.
Yep. The left has been rioting after their MPs even won the last election. We talked about that a couple of shows ago. And then you also have the farmers who've been rioting, which is kind of interesting when you look at what was in the actual opening ceremonies, and some of the depictions were from the peasant riots.
Yeah, Marie Antoinette.
But now you've got train rails, high-speed train rails being sabotaged. So that happened right before the actual opening ceremonies started, right out of the gate.
Okay.
Lit on fire.
And before we
damage
leave,
done.
yeah, and before we leave this story, I want to, because I want this. I need it. I'm craving it. I need video. Anybody out there in listener land, if you have video
can't have it.
or pictures of
You can't
any
have
of
it.
this damage, McShane, please let me ask my question. If you have video or pictures or suspects to who did this, any sort of actual proof that there was damage to the railways, I would please like that sent to Fitzy's email at gmail.com. Fitzy's email at gmail.com. Please send me proof that any of this happened, because all we're getting is these dumb fuck photo stock pictures of people
So
waiting
much
in
photo
line
stock.
at the train stations. Yeah. Soldiers walking outside of train stations. We've got emergency workers looking at dirt. That's basically that. And then some cable that's black, not burnt or damaged. It's just black cable. And then some guys walking the rail line. What the fuck? They just put the story out and everybody ate it. They just were spoon fed it. And no one's asking, where's the proof? How do you know this happened? What's happening? You can't tell me that in miles and miles of high-speed rail, they have 0 cameras on it. None. There's no cameras. There's no CCTV. There's no, remote viewing of any of these areas, that just in case something might come up, that they have proof or they have evidence. And we have 0, nothing. It's like the Trump assassination attempt. It's like there's no bullets. There's no proof of the ballistics, nothing. None of that. That's not important. They just want us to believe whatever they tell us. And it's bullshit.
And it's coming out of the EU, so you've got to question it.
Oh my God, big time.
So we've got Financial Times, which I actually, as a resource, I actually like Financial Times. So full disclosure, you can go and check it out for yourself. But France is suspended. This was as of Friday, so I think some of it's been restored. France has suspended high-speed rail services across much of the country after the network was hit by sabotage attacks hours before the Olympic Games opening ceremony. The coordinated arson attacks on Thursday night will alarm organizers of the Paris Summer Games as they prepared to host hundreds of thousands of spectators in the capital for opening ceremonies. I think you're on point. I mean, there aren't any real photos of this that really say, oh my gosh, that's some serious shit. Nothing like that. And with the stuff that's come out from the EU, and we've already talked about the shenanigans that happened with the elections. What a great time to blame something on Russia. Since Russia, I don't even...
Yep.
Is Russia even in the Olympics, or are they the federation? Again.
That's a great question. I don't know. I don't know. That's a separate question, but there was a article that I saw that was trying to tie Russia and Iran, that it was Iranian terrorists who did this to the railways, but they were financed by Russia. So there was this weird tie in together that Russia is financially supporting Iran, so Iran could send these terrorists to damage the railways. And now, of course, tonight Paris is blacked out. They've lost power. Which you're nailing it, France. You're nailing it. Well done.
So are we going to get something every day? Are we ramping up to something? Because there's so much going on. And yet, like you said, power outages in France. I mean, allegedly, because there's nothing else is being seen and said in mainstream media, right?
Nothing.
So if you look at, what we're looking at in chat right now is from OSINT Defender. But if you look up Paris power outages, you'll see a bunch of different clips. It's not super convincing to me, but when this was taking place, it was also overnight. There's an update. It looks like power has been restored to a majority of the districts in Paris following a widespread power outage earlier tonight, with lasted between 10 minutes and an hour in some neighborhoods. And already, if you look at the comments, Russian handiwork. No, but I don't know why there wasn't other comments on it. Power outages are common. I can tell you my own belief that I have zero doubt that France had any idea what they're up against. Their electrical portfolio is also sketchy as fuck. So it wouldn't surprise me if they're overwhelmed. We had boots on the ground there like 3 or 4 months ago. Our buddy Brad was there and he's like, this place is a fucking shit show. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if it was just upside down, backwards, and we're going to see other stuff. There were reporters in the Brazilian games what was that? When was that? Was that 2016? I can't remember when it was. I think it was like 2016 or something. There were shootings. There was all kinds of stuff. It wouldn't surprise me if there is a lot of stuff going on that's not being reported. But it does call into question with everything else that's going on, especially with, Israel, massive attacks today. Now they can go after. The U.S. gave them permission to go after the Hezbollah.
Yep. They've been fully authorized. Yep.
So Lebanon's going to be totaled.
Something that I'm going to throw out there, and again, this is complete conjecture. I don't know. But from everything I heard, the Olympic Village, because France was trying to purport this image of being a green, this is the greenest Olympics ever kind of thing, they did not put air conditioners in any of the.
That's fact.
In any of the buildings in the Olympic Village. So a lot of teams they brought their own portable AC units, like the window plug-in kind, because again, these are athletes. They kind of need to cool down at the end of the day. I mean, unless you're like in the swimming competition, cooling down is probably a thing. And it's been hot in Paris. And so they brought these portable, they're bringing fans, they're bringing portable AC units. And I will tell you one thing I do know, just from being a journeyman electrician for 7 months. 2 things that draw the most power off of a power grid are portable electric heaters. They draw a huge amount of amperage, and portable AC units draw a huge amount of amperage. So let's just say you had an extra, 2,000 athletes come to your town.
At least.
And you didn't provide them. Okay. But you didn't provide them with any AC at all. And all of them were like, we need to cool down. What do you think is going to happen? You're most likely in store for a fucking blackout, or at the very least a brownout. So yeah, to your point, McShane, I'm not surprised by this at all. You have a huge, and that's not even mentioning all the people who came to watch the Olympics, who are there as tourists, who are there as fans and spectators. That it's drawing a huge amount of people, all wanting to be cool at night, all wanting to go out and be in a nightclub that actually has lights on and cold beers for sale. why are they shocked that if they were already shoddy in their, as you said, their electrical grid is suspect to say the least. Why are they surprised that they had a blackout? Why does it have to be a cyber attack from Russia? Like, to me, Occam's razor. Let's go to the most simplest answer, or the simplest idea, hypothesis, and go from there. And then if that one doesn't play out, then we go to the next one. To me, Russia, I believe, and we do need to do some research on this, but I believe Russia has athletes there. So why would they sabotage their own athletes?
I will look that up.
Point?
I will look that up I will look that up in a second. But
yeah.
So first of all, here's the NPR article verifying. I mean, there's a ton of articles on it, but you are absolutely on point. They do not want AC units in Paris wants an AC-free Olympic Village. Team USA and others aren't so chill with it. That's NPR. Okay,
that's a joke.
Well, hold on. It gets better. Hold my beer. If you go to olympics.com/IOC/Paris-2024, bring up the site. More innovative, more sustainable.
Yeah.
You can't find the opening ceremony games, but you've got this weird looking sperm thing spinning the
what is
earth
that
on its, I don't know what the fuck it is.
Is that supposed to be
It looks like a
bird?
reverse butt plug. It looks like a reverse butt plug with a smiley face on it.
Actually, that might feel good. Like if you twist it at a certain angle, that one wing would be like up under your balls. That might be, I don't know.
So if the tips,
for a woman, it would
vibrate,
be,
if the tips vibrate on the taint, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly.
Taint inspired butt plug.
The vibration comes from, the vibration comes from its little shoes trying to run to get out of your butthole. All right, that just got dark. I'm sorry. I apologize. That's
you know what, but if you're wearing Lycra pants, like the really firm, like you know what? That's what cyclists use.
We need to know what this thing's name is. Don't they name all the mascots? You know what? Keep going. I'll effort that. I'm gonna effort what the what the mascot's name is.
More sustainable games. All right. At the first Olympic Games edition to be fully aligned with Olympic Agenda 2020, Paris 2024 will be sustainable. Then it will be more sustainable than its predecessors for a whole cast of reasons. The games are
okay.
Let's see here.
Go ahead. I was just about to say in like purely French style. This thing's name is unpronounceable. It's spelled PHRYGE. So I think in French you would pronounce that as fart. I don't know, or fleu.
Perfect.
I don't know. What is that word? Frige, flan? Is that flan?
I have no idea. It's not flan.
Anyway, that's what it's called. and even mainstream media is calling this thing quirky.
Well, it looks like it looks like an inverted butt plug
to make of it. Yeah.
So, all right. So getting back to the sustainability bullshit, largely energy self-sufficient thanks to 4,680 meters of solar panels on its roofs. That's their aquatics venue. Let's see here. Plant-based ingredients in these meals will be doubled, while 80% of ingredients will be sourced from local agriculture, that's good. That's good. World Olympic partner Coca-Cola will install 700 water and soft drink fountains across all of Paris 2024 sites. How is that sustainable?
So, do you know what that is?
So great.
Do you know what fridge is? Frige? It's supposed to invoke the hats worn by the people in the French Revolution. That's the French hat.
I think they missed.
You don't say. Because it looks like a butt plug. It doesn't look like a hat.
It looks like an inverted butt plug. I don't know what to tell you. The Paris 2024 vehicle fleet. This has been trimmed by 40% compared to previous games, with the electric hybrid hydrogen-powered vehicle supplied by worldwide Olympic partner Toyota being laid onto ferry athletes and other accreditees to and from their destinations. Climate commitment. You're committed to contributing to global efforts to address climate change, reducing our direct and indirect emissions in line with Paris Agreement on climate change. I swear to God, Kamala Harris wrote this. Creating the Olympic forest. There's an Olympic forest, Fitz. There's a fucking Olympic forest. And you can even go to the IOC's website and look at the IOC sustainability strategy.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, I don't have anything after that. I'm just beside myself with how ridiculous that is.
So I've actually made a concerted effort my whole life to stay as far away from the French language as I could, mostly because I tried Spanish, got okay at it. I tried German because I have German ancestry. I really sucked at that, although, to varying degrees, I can understand what's going on in German. But French I've stayed away from. But apparently there's a term in French, the French language, and I know I'm butchering this, so please save your comments to yourself. I'm not trying to speak French here, but the word is spelled merde, and it's pronounced something like merde. Merde. Yeah. With an L. There's an L in there, even though there isn't an L in there, but merde. Yep. Yeah. And it's a swear word to some degree because it can mean shit. But we, just like we can say something like, whoa, that's the shit. Like, yes, that's a swear word, but it also means something good. But shit can also be like, you're batshit crazy. Like that can mean something bad, or that's bullshit or whatever. So merde is kind of the same in the French language. And it's what the French keep evoking with, these opening ceremonies. Like, that was merde. Like, you wouldn't understand. You're a Westerner. Oh, no, we understand perfectly. We understand perfectly. Yeah, that wasn't the shit. That is shit. It's stupid. It's horrible. It's get rid of it. And I just think that's going to be the narrative, is that we don't really know what that means, because they stage actors will use that term as like break a leg, go merde, like go kill it. Okay, but that's not what this was. That's not what anything that's happened in the Olympics so far is. What you all are doing is ruining the Olympics for the rest of the world. You might be enjoying it, the elite, the privileged. You might be saying, wow, this is a great show. Look at all the LGBTQ bullshit we have in there. Look at all the, we're so green, all that stuff that McShane just rattled off about how green we are. And they can all, jerk off to how green they are. At the end of the day, you guys are all shit. And I mean that in the literal sense of the word. You are human excrement, and you're ruining the Olympics for all of us. And it sucks. I'm sad, because I used to love the Olympics. I loved every part of it, even though I never shot putted before. But I loved the drama of learning the background of all these shot putters and the competition and the rivalry that they've had for years, and who comes out on top. And I loved that stuff. I can't relate to this Olympics at all. I'm already turned off. I don't care. I wonder what the ratings are for the Olympics thus far, because I guarantee you it's not anywhere near what they've been in the past. I think people are done. I think everybody's done. We just don't want to see it anymore.
Well, you just name the show, because it's just gonna be Merde. Merde.
Yeah,
it's gonna be shit. And I think I can get away with that too, because I don't think French goes through any of the filters. So I think we're
the algorithms. Yeah, I don't think so either. Yeah. I mean, we might be banned in France, but what is that, like 6 or 8 listeners? Which I'm sorry, because I love all of you. We've
got some listeners in France
who are listening to us, but
yeah, we've got some folks in France.
Yeah,
absolutely. The change. Russia competing in the Olympics in 2024. The change comes. The International Olympic Committee made the decision to ban both Russia and Belarus from 2024 games related to the war in Ukraine. So that sucks, because I always like the drama between Russia, China, and the U.S. If you don't have those three competing against each other, it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah. What a joke. I need to know how many more gold medals we have than them.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, Fitz, I think we've done some good work tonight. What beer are you taking to bed?
Okay, I'm not saying I didn't love the Imperial Stout, but this brown was really solid. And it stayed solid. I actually liked it more the more it warmed up, because what got accentuated was the caramel. And I love caramel in a beer, because it smooths everything out. It just makes you feel like you're, sucking on a, I was about to say Mrs. Butterworth's, but I'm pretty sure that's a maple syrup.
No, Withers.
What was the
Withers.
caramel candy? Thank you.
Withers.
Oh, Withers. I'm giving a blowjob to Mr. Withers. That's what this beer was like. And God, his dick tastes so good. Anyway, that's the.
You say this stuff just for Jefe. I just want to point that out, because he's going to be giggling in his car right now.
I hope so. I hope he gets in his car with the biggest hard on ever.
Yeah.
No, it was just a really smooth, very caramely beer. Even the maltiness was that sort of pleasant, kind of toned down. We're gonna make you feel good malt. It just everything was done in balance on this beer. So that's the one I'm taking to bed. Although the Imperial from Left Hand, definitely, I would recommend it. I think you should try it just to give Left Hand the just a chance, because they're trying some new stuff and I dig it. So what about you? Oh, shit.
This patricide was some rough sex. That was some violent just I came out scratched and bleeding and smoking something. That was some shit. Yeah. It was patricide was that was a badass beer, and it got more violent as it got warmer, which was, you still had the mouth-watering nature to it, which was really, really good, but it just got more vicious as the show went on. And I'm just like, God, I gotta call it. I gotta call it the way I see it. So there you go.
Amen. Well done.
All right. Hope you guys have enjoyed the show. Thank you so much to Beard of Liberty, Aaron, Kamala. Sorry, this just makes me giggle. Elle, Lisa, Moxie, Tabby, Mike, Joe. I know you couldn't stay. We missed Jay tonight. Missed Jay. That's all right. Jay got his induction into and Buttercup wasn't here either. You're right. You're totally right.
Yeah. Yep.
But thank you guys for listening at @whiskey_hell. If you guys want to follow us on Twitter, whiskeyhellpod @gmail.com is the website. I'm sorry, that's actually the email. whiskeyhellpod.com is the website. So you guys should totally go to the website, look at the show notes, have some fun with all the links, because we're not spouting any bullshit. Of course, our opinions are in there, but we back it up with the links. So do what you want to do with it. I'm Steve McShane.
I'm Fitz.
Think critically.
Act accordingly.
We'll talk to you soon.